What's up, everybody? I am Kevin Knowles. This is YGOU University Episode 3. I am joined here this week by
Bryce,
Michael,
and Alex.
Once again, if you guys enjoy our content, please check us out at patreon.com/YGOU University. Now, recently, there's been a Yu-Gi-Oh! Ban list that is in effect for YCS Chicago. So let's talk about some of the impacts it's going to have on that tournament and just our general thoughts on the ban list. So,
first, I guess the big things I think that happened were some of the big bans I did for like token cards and just like degenerate things in general, such as like Rongo and Soul Charge. I think
And Gumblar.
Yeah, I think
Gumblar.
like hitting that kind of stuff was pretty in general healthy for the game. What do you guys think about it? What about you, Michael?
I think Soul Charge has always been a degenerate card. Just never healthy, especially when Sylvan's like had it back at 3.
I think at
that.
3 it's the most balanced.
Because everyone can just fight with Soul Chargers.
Yeah, and you have to
Soul Charge.
You have to like
You're
think,
gonna have
you have
to-
to think out your Soul Charges too.
I'm gonna have to do another Soul Charge, so I can't all in on this one.
yeah, like I
like
got to only
maxi,
pay
yeah.
$3K
It's
for
just-
this one.
With
Darn.
like where the game's at right now, of just like, oh, I'm gonna make my U and hopefully kill you next turn. I Soul Charge needed to go. It was time.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I think same with Rongo and Gumblar. It just allowed those decks to just make cards that were just a little bit too ridiculous. That weren't future-proof. Like Rongo especially, where it just like, yeah, I'm just going to put like 7 materials under it. And like now you
Can't
got
play
like,
for 4 turns.
yeah, you can't
And
play
I'm
for 4
unaffected
turns.
by everything.
Yep, and I'm 3K. Like
And
it
you
just
can't
had
even
everything.
Taichu it.
It was just ridiculous. So I definitely needed to go, and Gumblar as well for the Goki like rotation deck for your hand. Like that one was a bit much as well because that deck also made Rongo. Like they made both
Yeah,
of
you
those
can do
cards,
anything.
so it was a little bit too much. And then they also banned Grinder Golem,
Yeah,
which was
and
a
Tomahawk. The
yeah.
token cards. The good token.
so
cards.
those were good. I mean, like all the token cards are going to be kind of seeing that same treatment pretty soon here. Like we saw it with Dandelion, now Grinder Golem. In my opinion, Mare is probably coming
Yeah,
up
that's-
next. Like,
We'll probably talk about
Maybe.
later in a different segment.
but
today.
like also
Yeah.
Scapegoat went to 1
Oh,
from
yeah.
2
Yeah.
on this
really?
list. Yeah,
they put-
so that affected quite a bit, in my
yeah,
opinion.
that affects a lot of weaker decks like Trick Stars and Shots Fired.
yeah, I was about to say. Whoa. Whoa.
They're only powerful players when they flip Scapegoat.
Yeah, true. And like speaking of cards that went to 1, I mean some of the other big cards that went to 1 was, let's get it out of the way. It's Brilliant Fusion, which in my opinion should have
guys
just
are-
been banned. Like keeping it at 1 makes it so that deck is still a thing because you can just like people can still play it. Just the percentage probability of winning is lower, but
And by that deck, he means
Thunder
Gem Knight
Dragons.
FTK.
yeah, Gemini FTK.
Well, it
What-
got hit because of Thunder Dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys, Konami
Yes.
doesn't even look at the Gem Knight
Oh,
cards
they
when
do.
they're thinking about banning them.
Oh, they hella
They
did.
should have just
Well,
banned
they
that
did.
purple one that says
Yeah,
you
Master
die.
Diamond. they
They
definitely messed up
Now
on
I
that
can't
one.
play pure Gem Knights anymore.
You can still
With
play
that-
it.
Master
Without
Diamond's
the
at
stigma.
1. Brilliant
I
Fusion's
might
at
play it
1.
at the YCS.
I lost
Hint,
Law
hint.
Vault Chain and I've lost Brilliant Fusion.
Avarice.
Hey, your Master Diamond's at 1 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never made that card. It was Zirconia OTK when I played it.
Dude, at least if they would have left that card at like 2, you can make VFD because that card's sick. But
Let's talk about other cards that went to 1, mainly Charette and Construct. Those came
Awesome
off the
George.
ban list and went to 1.
Shut
And in my
she has
opinion,
returned.
Tam.
I've been
are
playing against
some-
Shadals and Nekroz quite a bit on Dueling Book, and they suck. I'll just be honest here. Like, the Shadal deck was like, I'll make Construct, and then passed. And I was just like, okay, cool, dude. Like,
I mean,
they don't have the proper link support, in my opinion. I mean, Nekroz is a bit different because they're rituals, but
And they have the new incantations. I think Necros has the potential to be very good.
I agree.
someone
I
just
think
needs to figure it out.
Necroz's only problem is going to be Thunder Dragons.
Yes, I think that's the like biggest thing about it because I think the deck. I mean, it's obviously very consistent with all the new incantations. You just have so much searching, but like if you go against Thunder Dragons, you have so much searching, so you can't do anything if you go second. And I feel like you still want to go second with the deck, although I've seen some variants where you can like first turn Christia, so that might be.
And a
thing.
major roadblock for me in the deck building form is that Unicorn is still that 1.
Yeah, I
And
think
that
that's
just
a big
is
thing.
just that just kind of like if Unicorn was at 3, honestly, I
Oh,
would
wait,
feel like
really?
it's
Yeah,
at 1
that
still.
one's at
Yeah,
1, and Brian X at
Oh.
3.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was like the main tool that I've been talking about. That
Yeah, Unicorn is at
Necroz can
1.
fight against it.
with
No,
Thunder
it-
Dragons.
So now you have to just summon like a Colossalus.
you can do
Yeah, you can. Well,
if you can summon any of them, they're all good against Thunder Dragons. It's just like
Summoning them.
if they have more Thunder Dragons than you have Ritual guys, because Colossus can handle 1, Bryonac can handle 2.
Oh yeah.
You just have to line up a spell
You
with
like-
a way to summon your
Yeah.
Bryonac.
if you like
It's
Kaleidoscope,
just it's a tricky situation.
like Kaleidoscope for like Colossalus, Trishula, that'd probably be good.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But
you
you'd
go.
have to have like that specific
In your
3-card
hand.
combo, and you can't search. So
Ooh, Trishula is actually like really good against them too, because you can banish the fusion and won't get anything off it.
yeah,
yeah, but like the main
Man,
card,
that's pretty good.
the main card that like Necroz is good for, in my opinion, is Unicorn. Like right now, like it stops a lot of the special summoning decks, and a lot of decks use fusion summoning and all that kind
if
of
you go
stuff.
first, you can consistently get it though.
Yeah, true. But it's just if it was at 3, like there's decks that can still handle it and play around it, and so like if they get rid of your Unicorn, you're just kind of like, oh shit, like you're kind of screwed in screwed in the pooch there. So
But in that style deck, you're usually just like throwing out your like defensive monster just so that you even make it to the next turn, and then just like you commit a little bit and then they overcommit to get rid of your stuff, and then you punish that,
Mm.
and then you're in like the game
kind of
where
like
you win.
the incremental advantage. Like you're
Yeah.
kind of just pinging them down, and then now I can overwhelm you because I don't have to worry about as much of your stuff.
yeah.
And they got like
That's-
the Valk, like the searchable Battle Fader. When like games go less turns, I think Battle Fader's like something like that. Searchable in your deck is very powerful.
And then the Synchro actually went to 3. This ban list, the Herald of Arclight, I think it was at 2 or something.
no, it's always been a 3.
Was it always at 3? I thought it went
Yeah.
to. I thought it went to 3.
No,
and
that
it
was
at 2.
Librarian.
Librarian.
TG
was
Hyper
3.
Librarian went to 3. Bryo went back to 3. Hornet went back to 3. Mind Up Magician went back to 3.
Oh.
But I want to talk about
But Zen
Shadal's because
Mighty
that one
is
has
still
been
a
getting a lot
0.
of hype from people. And
Libo's
in
gotta
my
stay at
personal
0.
experience, after playing against it a lot, I haven't played with it, but playing against it, like it just feels extremely weak right now. Like their Link monster is not good at all.
Shadal.
Yeah, the
Is that what you're
Shadal
talking- okay.
construct requires 2 2 flip monsters, and it doesn't even point downwards. Its effects are great, and it floats, and it actually gives you a free fusion summon. But like, my opponent would just make Winda, and then like I play Prank Kids right now, and I would honestly just make Rocket Ride and kill their Winda with place because it just decreases their attack by 5 or increases my 500 attack by 500, and I just plowed over the Winda. They have nothing else on the field. They get their Shadal fusion back, and I'm just like, that's cool. I'm not going to have any extra deck monsters on your turn, so you can't even use Shadal Fusion because I'm just going to tribute them all in standby phase. So in my personal experience, I just felt like that deck's been extremely weak. And Construct coming back was just like a little too late.
I can see them being all right because Winda seems like good against like all the combo decks. But I think like if it's gonna see any play, it'll be like maybe like splashed in the side against like Striker or something. You just side in like, or if you're already playing like some weird light stuff like Trick Clown in your deck, if you're playing some weird rank 4, you just like Shadal Fusion when they have an extra deck, and you just like Dragon Pop, Trick Clown, and then just like make like Phoenix off 1 card or something like that. I feel like that could be a good engine to play.
To like side against or play against Altergeist.
I don't know about Altergeist because they don't really summon from the extra deck on their first turn unless it's Link Rebo. But I would say like Striker, it'd be good because they always
they
have.
always make that card Shichizu.
Yeah, just any of the links. So you just you're gonna, if you're playing against that going second, you're pretty much guaranteed to get the fusion off, and
Yeah.
so you get like the free pop. If you can just keep the construct there if you want, because it's just like a big dude, but they'll probably have Ray, so it might be better just like try and link climb into like a Boral sword or something like that. I don't know, but I think it could be like a good engine.
Yeah, it's just rough because you can't link someone with face down monsters, or else like I would
Balanced.
be totally on board with it. And I mean, I agree it's balanced, but like not being able to like you have to like bring your Falco back and set it, and then now I gotta flip my Falco in the next turn, and now they know it's a Falco, and there's decks that just deal with that all the time.
I
Now.
don't think Falco's any good. Maybe you
No,
just
I
play
think
like
that card is-
I think you just play like Dragon Beast, like pop it back row, draw a card, like some Trick Clown. Like that'd be broken in my opinion.
It's kind of like a mid-rangey deck where you're just kind of like making smaller plays, that incremental value, but nothing like huge. It's like it's not like the big combo deck that like we're expecting it to be, like it used to be.
I think mainly it's just because some of their effects aren't as relevant anymore.
That's fair. Like it's a little slow.
And
Nowadays.
yeah, I mean they're flip effect monsters, so I mean they'll really you're only getting half their text like
True.
off of them. You're only going to get a pop. You're only going to get a send from deck to graveyard. You're only going to get a search off your hamster.
Yeah, they're just missing like that little oomph, like like I'm just gonna take care for example with the cards that I play. Like prank kids specifically say when you link someone with them, they get effects, but the Shadal cards don't get their effects because it says when it's sent by card effect, right?
Yeah.
So like they don't even get their effects when you link summon. So you're like being punished for trying to like combo off by not getting your monster's effects, which is kind of rough. So that then you have to start playing the engines that aren't even Shadals. So you're like playing like. So then at that point, you're like, oh, do I value playing like the Shadal engine with something else, or do I just play like a good deck like Dangers with Shadals and like try and play around with that?
That's what I think it'll probably end up being. Is like a splash.
Yeah, or like a Thunder Dragon Shadal deck. But
maybe I could see that.
I just feel like it was a little too late. Like Shadal Fusion is really really good, and people make extra deck cards all the time, but. I just wish like Shadal's had like a better Link monster in all my opinion. But I mean I feel that way for a lot of archetypes like Burning Abyss. Like if Burning Abyss had a good Link monster, like they'd be awesome. They're still good, but like
eventually.
Yeah, eventually, hopefully. What were some of the other like really big takeaways from the ban list for you guys?
I think you're forgetting the two biggest cards. It's the fact that we have Eroded Chaos Emperor Dragon finally.
Oh, that's true.
And then we got the man, the legend, Cyberstein, to summon that last warrior alive.
There are no
On your
FTKs
Or
involving
Exterio.
Cyberstein.
Yep.
I think summoning Exterio is nuts.
Did you guys see the Danger deck with Cyberstein, the FTK that's back? You
Yeah.
summon,
Yeah.
the little archer dude that makes it so you don't have to pay costs, and then you just keep summoning a bunch of like fusion monsters. I don't know. Austin was showing to me, and it was on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, but there's some card that makes it so you don't have to pay the cost of it, so you just keep bringing them out.
Oh, Brain Research Lab.
Thank you.
You do Ripper
Oh, yeah.
Docus to change your Cyberstein into a Psychic type.
Yeah,
and
we were
then
just talking about that.
Brain Research Lab is you make a brain counter instead of paying life points for a Psychic type monster. But if Brain Research Lab gets destroyed, you take 1,000 damage for each counter. So
side your
Ghost Ogre
Typhoons.
and Ghost Ogre. You could Ghost Ogre it.
But, the main thing is that deck actually makes Azathoth first, and then
Oh,
it does
yeah.
that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can even Ghost Ogre. Yeah.
Typhoon and
So you need
Impermanence.
like Twin Sister or Typhoon or something, or I guess Impermanence, and then you just like negate the. Brain
At least they
Research
lost
Lab.
some of the like dark starters, like Dark
Armageddon
Greffer.
Knight.
Dark Greffer
Yep,
went
Dark
to 1
Greffer
on
just
this
went
list,
to 1, yep.
and then last list Armageddon Knight went
And
to
then
1.
Gold Sark went to 1 as well. For
Yeah.
the
And
Thunder
then, I
Dragons.
was just about to say, Gold Sark went to 1.
So
I
I mean, it's very bricky, but the fact of the matter is that it like, exists now. Like
a different
just,
danger.
yeah,
PK.
just like there's
The dangers
I think
make
it's-
it not bricky because you're just like I'm gonna keep doing things.
all of my
It's sweet.
all of my monsters say draw a card. It's like okay,
Shit.
that sounds like a
And
plan, dude.
sometimes they don't.
Yeah. But and then Cyberstein saw a play in that, and then I've been seeing a lot of it in the Pendulum deck, which is really really hyphy because you just like pendulum it out and then summon Cherry Exterio, and then you have your other fusion monster, and then you have like Avion on the field. So you got like 4 negates on the field, and then they're just like kind of chilling. My main thing is it's just funny because like if someone Cybersteins and get ashed, like I don't.
You can't even do
You
that. though.
can't.
Can you not? I thought it was
You
You
mean
mean
for the
Ghost
deck.
Ogre?
Well,
No,
it
someone's
just
gonna-
says the deck, but it is referring to your main deck.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I don't know, because you can ash Pot of Desires and it says adds card from the deck to your hand, and it technically
Yeah,
counts that.
and that's counting as drawing because usually on like Thunder King it says like the cards it says except by drawing cards.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I never know with
You can
Konami's wordings
impermanence
and how
it,
much
though.
they change it. That's fair.
Yeah, there's definitely outs to it. It's not too bad. That's why they brought it off the list.
Well, I think they just figured that the 5,000 life points is pretty steep cost nowadays. It's like, and then it's like no. And if you bring out 4 negates, you're just like, yeah, dude. Like, okay,
I think
Have
some
fun.
This was fun.
summon Exterio is nuts.
yeah, you're just like Exterio. Plus, you get the Odd Eyes fusion monster, and you probably have Avian. So you're just like, yeah, like I can deal with your monsters and all of your spell and traps.
So what do you guys think about them not hitting Altergeist or Sky Striker?
Surprising. I was expecting Sky Striker to get hit. Like I was expecting like Widow to go to 1 or like Engage to go to 1.
Or Kagari, or any of them,
Yeah.
or all of them,
And
the 2, or something.
Yeah, I'm surprised Engage didn't get touched.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly thought Engage was just gonna go to 1, and they were just gonna like make it so that like that deck is like very less consistent, but I think felt like it'd still be playable. Like
I think like one
In a
of the big
sense.
things is like if you look at like the stats for tournaments, it's like the most played deck, and it's the most number of tops, and then like as soon as it gets to top 8, there's like none in the
it just
finals.
loses out.
And it was like the most represented, and there's the most in the top 32 or 64, and but by the time it's top 8, there's none in there at all, which I think is ridiculous. So I think that's a big reason why they didn't touch it, because it might be represented, but it's just like maybe not as good as people think.
I think it's also like the farther you get, you're fighting like better people, and so they like sometimes they'll just know the game plan like a little bit better than you do even.
Yeah,
And
it's a fair deck, and fair decks you can actually play around.
Yeah, and definitely like, well, and it's a fair deck that you know what their back rows are. There's no surprises to you because they've searched them all, and so you're like, okay, I know what all their back row is, and honestly, like, a lot of the decks do really well versus Sky Striker right now, just because there's a lot of like spell and trap hate, and like being able to blow up. Again, I'll go back to the deck I play, Prank Kids. Like Rip Roaring is just amazing versus that deck, and literally just like -5s them, and they lose the game. And that's just one of the biggest things for me. It's like that deck is really easy to play against as a Prank Kids. Altergeist, in my opinion, is like probably one of the harder ones to play against because they just get to main deck Floodgates, and they have answers to like everything in the form of trap cards and monster effects.
Yeah, I think that might be one of the better decks right now. I think it's like a little less consistent than Sky Striker, but like once they get their game plan like rolling, like I feel like it's very hard to stop when they're like looping both like Meloseek, Multi-Faker, Meloseek, and
Marionetter
with the manifestation, and they're doing like all of that stuff at the same time. I feel like if they get like the loops and combos and stuff going with their monsters, then like there's almost no way you can come back.
yeah, it's like based on how strong their hand is, because if like they don't have all the pieces, you can usually just pressure them out of those scenarios. Is like how I usually try to deal with it. Like if they just like do one trap and get the multi-faker into the bounce card, if that's like all the defense they have right there, you just have to try to get through that, and then the loop would be broken essentially, because like they would need another trap to get the stuff back.
I think we can start making them tribute stuff off protocol too. Just start making them neg one by like you having to tribute things with protocol, so then they negate like monster effects that way, rather than just having like better ways to interact, like Silk bouncing manifestation. Like that's a better play because you're just interrupting their game plan while just having another card into your hand. But protocol, you're having to get rid of their resources. And like this is with Pot of Desires. I think Pot of Extravagance is actually like really helping them right now because it allows them to actually fully access all of their resources in their main deck, which is kind of a scary thought nowadays because now
they can even play both.
Yeah, they could definitely play both. I mean, it'd be awkward too, but because Extravagance doesn't say you can draw other cards, so if you had both, it's kind of awkward. But
I think it's for the rest of the turn though, so you could Desires first and then Extravagance.
You have to play Extravagance at the start of your main phase one.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah,
that
they put a lot of restrictions on it.
If I could see them playing like 2 or 3 Extravagance and like 1 Desires, maybe if they want to play Desires, but it's like 4 Pot of Greeds in your deck. It's like
yeah, definitely. But like Extravagance, like I know a lot of times when I was playing the Altergeist deck, like you Desires and then like you'd get rid of some of like the better cards in your deck, and like now you're just out of those resources, and that deck is really like about resource trading. Like you're just trading 1 for 1, but you're able to like +1 off of each time, so you're slowly getting these incremental advantages. And then if you start getting rid of them with Desires, it kind of hurt your game plan a little bit more. And then I think with Extravagance, like your extra deck isn't as useful in that deck. Like you don't have to make it. Like the monsters you'd make most of the time are like Hextia and Boral Sword. So I'm just gonna put 3 of each of those into my extra deck and just kind of hope to God I don't banish
3
it.
Boral Sword?
hell yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I like it.
That'd
I
be
like
nuts.
it.
3
I'd
Boral
be
Sword
down
and
for
3
that.
Pot of Extravagance, dude. We're just balling out.
Yeah, there's only
And 3
less than
impermanence.
5%
Like, this deck became
chance.
expensive all of a sudden.
That was has been.
All right.
Yeah.
So, question: What card coming off the ban list or being changed on the ban list that is too little, too late? That is your favorite? I think for me, like it would be Hornet.
Agreed.
No.
Agreed.
I even forgot about that.
Like it coming to 3, like it's just so irrelevant.
They need
Or Wind Up Magician.
Dragonfly.
Wind Up Magician, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you already know some nerd is gonna come up with some wind up combo.
I haven't even thought about it, honestly.
If they come out with a Wind Up Link, that'd be hype.
There is one,
There is
and
one.
it's legal in the TCG, and it's I don't know what it does.
Oh.
I was gonna say it's
doesn't
bad.
know what it does.
I was
That's how
just-
bad it is.
Yeah.
I think the other highlight for me was limiter removal at 3. Because I just always,
Powerful.
since I started playing the game, I'm pretty sure that card's always been at 1, and I just never thought I would see the day where it's at 3. Same with Grinder Golem being banned. Like, I just never thought in any day of my life that I'd be like, wow, Grinder Golem got banned. I'm
What a
like,
broken card.
yeah. Like, for the longest time, I was like, I don't even want to buy that card for 5 cents. Like,
Yo, it special summons 2 tokens. If you get one more monster, you can special summon Plasma, Destiny Hero Plasma,
Whoa.
and then take
The Grinder Golem.
the Grinder Golem, win the game. They can't. It's skill drain.
Bryce, you just
What are they
renovated-
gonna do?
Is
Bryce, you
Plasma
just
half?
renovated 2008 Yu-Gi-Oh!
The
Oh my
game is
god.
half, yeah. So it'd go up to 3,400.
3,400 walking skill drain.
That
Wow.
gets Kaiju'd.
No. This isn't 2008.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
sorry.
gonna travel
Sorry.
back in
Gets
time.
Volcanic Queen.
Or Soul Exchange for a Monarch.
I wish I volcanic queened some Shians.
Oh my
I've been
god.
messing up.
So overall, what are our thoughts on the ban list? Like 1 out of 5. Give it a 1 out of 5.
I'd go with 3.
You can do decimals. Decimals
I-
are okay.
Okay. I'd go for a 3.7 because
Once again,
there's a lot of cards that are just like too little, too late. Like what's a TG Hyper Librarian that's neat, especially for like the TG support coming out. Hornet coming to 3 is irrelevant, especially with Armageddon Knight and Dark Griffer being at 1, and Foolish Burial still being at 1.
And Dragonfly.
And then Dragonfly that card will never. Ever,
I know. If that
have
card-
see multiple copies. That deck, that would be the best Link deck ever. That deck would be insane.
You'd get the Gigamantis when you link.
Just get like 2 or 3 summons per Dragonfly. Like, oh yeah.
and then you
I
can
don't
equip,
even.
you can equip the sword and then link summon and get the sword effect.
Yeah,
think.
I don't even want to go into insecond combos.
Yeah, I didn't even think
We'll
about
see
that.
you
No,
next ban list to win Dragonfly.
Trust me, like,
Isn't Dragonfly at 3 in the OCG?
I have no idea. I
They're
don't pay
just
attention.
attention.
not thinking about
The
it.
OCG
They got
does
way more
they
cool
got
stuff they
they-
can do.
they don't
OCG
think
has a
about
lot
that
of
stuff.
cool things they can do, and they just do even cooler
They have
things.
all the BAs at 3. They don't even fucking play it.
What? It
They
gets
got other
played.
cool things to play. They got
Sky
way
Striker
more.
is carried by Maxi there because it's like nerfed.
And Pot of Avarice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
At 3.
that's another reason why I wouldn't want to give the ban list a higher rating is because like still no Maxi.
Well,
I think it's
There's
like,
a reason
needed.
Maxi didn't get unbanned, and there's a new trap card out of Savage Strike, and it's you tribute. It's a sub terror card, and you tribute a monster, and then you search for. So you tribute a monster, and then you search a monster that's the same attribute but lower level. And so you just flip Guru, search a Solemn Judgment, and then you tribute it for, and then you search Maxi.
Okay, sorry that a bad deck is getting support.
Whoa.
Guru
Sub-tiers
Shout
are
outs
good.
to
really
Doug.
good.
Sub-tiers are pretty good.
Okay,
They're
well,
really good right now,
Bryce,
actually.
what's your rating?
My rating
for this, I think a 3.7 is solid, but that's just
The
my
first
opinion.
number that
It's a
came to my
solid number.
mind was 4.2, but that's
Ooh.
pretty
That's
arbitrary.
a
4.20.
solid. That's a really solid.
Oh no,
That's a
now they
really
know
really
what's
high
going on.
number actually. 4.2.
I think it's pretty good.
That's a solid number. That's a solid ban list number.
I think they've hit a lot of the problematics. Although there's so many cards in Yu-Gi-Oh, there's gonna be something stupid. Someone's gonna come up with something
As
stupid.
long as it keeps getting a little worse every time. Like,
a little less consistent.
As long as the FTK deck's just like you start questioning playing it rather than just being like, all right, sweet, I'm playing
They're
it.
gonna
That
Never
happens.
question FTK.
Yeah.
Now you're just like, do I play it?
You can
Probably.
still play Gem Knight. You can play left arm. You're like, brilliant fusion.
All right, Alex, what's your rating?
my rating is 3 points for the bans on bullshit like Dumblar and Rongo, but then only about like 0.5 added on for stuff coming back because I think a lot more stuff can come back. and
What?
So
level
like a
the
solid
playing field.
3.5?
Hey, that stuff I do like playing in Yu-Gi-Oh, but I think there's a bunch of old stuff that like could compete if it wasn't like randomly.
It wasn't
on
being
the
held
ban
down
list.
right.
I
It's
mean,
like,
Zen Mighty's still banned for who
I know,
knows why.
exactly.
Dude, there's
like-
got to be some crazy hand loop still. Just ban Hunter. Just ban Hunter and bring Boat back, please.
Yeah.
Did no
Jonathan Konami.
Hunter is banned. Zen Mighty at 3, and everybody's just gonna be like, okay, cool. Well, I can make my one Zen Mighty and my extra monster zone and
Pass.
pass. My rating, I'm gonna give it a 3, and the only reason is because I bought 3 French Brilliant Fusions, and now it's at
And
1,
2 of them suck.
and 2 of them blow.
Hey,
I also bought the whole Gemini deck core in French, and then it got banned as soon as they came in the mail. So I'm just over it.
I'm a casual Gem Knight player. I
Like
if you
5
wanna,
years ago.
if you want to build me casual knights,
Yeah, you can play with all the French
Casual
ones.
Knights are
I'm
probably
just-
still insane, honestly.
The
Hey,
Like broken.
Gemini
Seasons.
Brilliant
Oh,
Lady is a
God.
3400. Like
They would
that's
die.
crazy. And Master Nyman just gets huge. Like I've just killed people
It's
with
huge.
them. Like
Yeah.
just with the attack
Yeah.
points. It's kind of nuts.
Use battle.
But overall, I give it a 3. I just really want Pot of Avarice back, in my opinion. Like,
Bryce, quick, what's our
So good.
average on all of our numbers?
3.4.
Nice. Nice.
okay.
yeah, actually, I think that's about right. It's pretty close. I think it's 3.5. So overall, we'll give it a 3.5.
Leave in the comments what you think is the best thing to come off the ban list, or what you'd like to see off the next ban list.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good ending. Good job.